Hello everybody and welcome back to the Better Call Sukan podcast with Arief and Carl. Hello everybody, nama saya Arief Daniel. Nice to meet you. If you guys are the first timers yang terdengar kan. My name is Arief Daniel, host anda pada hari ini. And this is Carl, my co-host for today as well, as always. Carl, how are you today?
Hi, Arief of Arief and Carl.
Yes. How do you feel today? At this current time?
I don't know.
You feel a bit mixed.
Bit mixed. We're gonna talk about mixed martial arts. Segue.
sebab kita I don't know why, but every time when we start ada macam topik baru, kita akan cuba nak buat pan
Berceluk,
nak ciluk.
Try to
So ni quite easy
into,
So you feel a bit mixed.
Bit mixed.
Mixed
Towards the martial arts. What's this? What's that?
Okay.
What's Muay Thai? What's Jiu-Jitsu? We already had an episode on Jiu-Jitsu or Capoeira.
Yes.
Now we're gonna know about a bit more the sport MMA.
MMA.
Yeah, mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial arts.
And also kind of want to know like what's the difference between like the ones we see in like UFC and like weatherweight or all this like, and also is there a regional thing in Southeast Asia and all?
Sebenarnya, before we introduce the guest, I personally thought mixed martial art ni macam the mother of it, and then like it's mixed, and then bawah dia is all the martial art. So I don't know if it's true or not. Yes or no? Just guess.
I guess no,
No.
but also kind of yes.
Okay. Kita dah dengar dah suara the voice of the guest today.
Alright.
Okay. Mungkin people dah kenal ke, sebab I tahu dia adalah seorang champion. Champion.
A few episodes ago we had a wrestling champion.
Also,
now we have an MMA champion.
kepada yang nak whoever wants to like suggest, you don't have to suggest champions pun, but we are lucky to have champions as our guest today. So Carl, without further ado time, let's introduce who is our guest for today. The mixed martial arts expert.
Ladies and gentlemen, to talk about mixed martial arts in Malaysia, Mr. Ahmed.
Mr. Ahmed, welcome to the show.
Hello.
All right. You are former national champion, is it?
Yeah.
And what's the acronym?
Okay, so the organization that I was a champion in was called MIMA. Malaysian Invasion MMA.
Oh.
Yeah.
Malaysian
Malaysian Invasion.
Invasion?
Yeah.
MMA.
Yes, correct.
So that is like a community or the tournament?
Or the
that
federation?
was the tournament. So it was like a organization that was put together at like a national level.
Okay.
To provide a platform for Malaysians to grow the sport at an amateur level in Malaysia.
Okay. So we're gonna ask you about that more. Like contohnya what category, how many categories was there and all. But before that, Carl, let's get to know our guest a bit more.
Yeah. So what's your sporting journey from child to where you are in life?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I would say the first interaction that I had with MMA was through my late uncle, who introduced me to the like videos of Pride FC, which was an organization, an MMA organization in Japan.
Okay.
So I was like 13, 14 at this time. I was doing karate.
Okay.
And my uncle was like, like that's cool that you're doing karate, but like let me show you some real fighting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back then it was like I think like VHS, like DVDs were just coming out, whatever. So he showed me like this video of a tournament in Japan, and back then like the form of MMA was a little bit more raw.
Okay.
So now there's like in the UFC you have a lot of these like rules where you cannot strike people, you can't kick people on the ground, you can't do this kind of stuff. But in Japan everything was a bit more free for all. So I was seeing these guys like getting thrown around, kicked on the floor, all of this stuff, and I was like, this is awful. This is terrifying. I was doing karate. And then fast forward like years later in uni, I started getting into MMA. I was like, kind of happened upon it, looking for a sport to do, feeling a bit like a bit alone. I was doing like a year exchange program.
Okay.
And then I stumbled into this MMA gym in California.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was there for uni. Yeah. I was in California.
then that's how you started joining doing MMA at uni lah.
Yeah, so that was back in 2007, I think. 2007, 2008, like that.
Okay. So then never looked back ever since?
Yeah, it's just been that. Then it became a part of my life, basically. So I was training there like every day. You know, it was an exchange program. I didn't have a lot of friends there. I was just there. So I was like just at the gym all the time. And then after that, it just became a part of my lifestyle.
Okay, I have a question. You did mention about your late uncle in giving you some inspiration through Pride FC. And then you did the exchange program. What was the other factors that like invited you to go to these gyms?
Okay, so I was never really an athletic person growing up.
Okay.
I was actually more of like this nerdy, artsy kid.
Okay.
Right? But there was something in, like when I was doing karate, there was something in the competition aspect of it, in the sparring aspect of it, that like lit up, strangely, like one of the some artistic interest in me.
Okay.
Because like when you're competing or when you're fighting or sparring, there's an element of intense creativity to it.
Okay, fair.
So that like always kind of like pulled me back to the sport, pulled me back to like combat.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's like you need to think how to like pound the person. Is it? That kind of creative thinking, is it?
So there's a bit of a dance element to martial arts. Right? We're gonna get a bit like philosophical here.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Especially in the striking arts, there's a bit of like you're dancing with somebody. You're trying to control space, like you imagine like the tango or one of these other dances, right? You're like kind of like adjusting yourself to your
balancing
partner.
also.
Yeah. But then you add the element of that, the psychological element. I fake, I move a little bit, I try and intimidate you, and you try and to see how you respond. So all of that, there's like this creative like exchange that's happening between two people. Right?
Okay.
Which is very hard to understand from the outside.
Unless you go into the gym and do it. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever done, partner dancing or any of that kind of stuff.
We can do partner, me and you dance. I don't mind.
Yeah. I mean, that's the closest thing I would say is to a martial arts exchange.
No, because you reminded me of the episode that we did with Cristiano, capoeira and jiu-jitsu, and then I can see similarities of like why an artsy person would get into mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
and even we had an episode with 𝙎𝘾𝘾𝙄𝘼𝑅𝑑𝙠𝙎. It's also like an art form as well. So I can see like a resemblance of like each of three of you having the same like connective tissue.
Yeah.
But is it under, like just now I said, like is the mother of all mixed martial arts, or is it the main topic is combat sport?
Okay.
Macam mana tu? Yeah. So why don't you explain?
Okay. So what I meant by no and yes is that MMA now is its own animal. Right?
Okay.
It's its own thing.
Own breed lah.
Yeah, it's comprised of all these different sports. But if you just do all those individual sports and then try to go into an MMA fight, you'll have a hard time. Because the sport itself has kind of grown into its own thing.
Okay.
But if you talk about the history of combat, right, it all comes back to like mother martial arts. Like these old, like in Japan, there was forms of grappling that had striking. There was in India, you have a very, very old martial art that I cannot remember the name of, but but it's also a combination of those things.
Okay.
In the Western world, they had pankration, which was like this old Greek martial art mixed together. All this stuff is that early Olympics had competitions in that sport as well. So because it all comes back to combat law, right? You're defending yourself against an opponent. You're defending yourself in a battlefield. And so you have to integrate all of these different ways to control a human body.
So, contohnya you said basically as example, you said there's a lot of other like different types of form of martial arts. So, like there's a question here. We are from the question is from Slide of Han. He asked, like what what are some martial arts that don't even belong as martial arts? Is it like Wing Chun ke, karate ke, and like is
Bit of a hot question.
is silat is even legit considered as martial arts?
Hello, bro. You're trying to get me in trouble or something, huh?
I don't know. He's asking.
he's getting
I'm
in
just
trouble.
reading the question because
Okay,
we as
Han.
Better Call Sukan, we ask people to ask questions. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh,
I'll give you. I'll
to
give
the
you
listeners, he already adjusts his position to really answer this.
Waiting to strike.
No. Okay, I'll start with the PC answer first. Right?
Okay.
And then, all martial arts can form a basis for the journey towards competition and combat. Right.
Okay.
Because it teaches you basic stuff like reflexes, awareness, how to control your body. These are basic things that you need regardless of what martial art you do.
Okay.
Right? Now, if you want to actually fight, be it on the street or competition, you have to do it in a context. You have to train in a way that is, we call it in a way that's live.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so, like, have you seen like the old school martial arts, like the karate, the forms? Yeah.
The old school martial arts, which one?
Okay, you're trying to get me in trouble again, huh? All right, let's go back. Okay, so
But that's performance-wise, right?
it's performance, right?
Yeah.
So you have Wing Chun has an element of the performance. Silat also has an element of performance, right?
Yeah.
Karate has an element of performance.
Yeah.
Even Taekwondo, all these other things, they
Yeah.
have tricking and all these other
Yeah.
crazy aspects, right? That's all cool, and that's good for building your athleticism, but it won't do anything for you in actual combat.
Okay.
Right? So as I would say, as much time as you can dedicate to realistic training scenarios, that's way more beneficial.
So
Right?
basically, what you're trying to say is, it's still called as martial arts lah.
Yeah, you can still call them martial arts as long as you're practicing them with the intention of putting
combat.
them in real combat.
Your
so
objective.
Yeah.
that kisah lah. It doesn't matter what form. All this, the examples I said just
Yeah.
now. So if you use it as a combat, then it's martial arts lah.
Not okay. So that was my big long PC answer lah.
Okay. okay.
But I would say realistically, there's a couple of arts that are already directed. They're already tuned for real combat.
Okay.
Right? All the competition combat sports.
Like what? Sumo.
Sumo maybe.
Oh.
That can. There's some mixed martial artists that have done that, but they do it as supplementary thing.
Okay.
But boxing,
Okay.
easy. Right.
Okay.
Wrestling, easy. Muay Thai, easy also. Jiu-Jitsu is also an easy transition. When I say easy transition into
MMA.
actual combat.
Actual
MMA lah.
combat. Okay.
Okay, all
Yeah.
this is the one that you just mentioned. All these are known as martial arts lah.
Yeah, correct.
But it's not mixed martial arts.
No, mixed
Oh.
martial arts is its own
Own
thing.
grade. Oh.
You
Okay.
know.
Okay. Why? So, do you have? And you want to add more to that? Actually, before I
I would love to do a flow chart, okay, the history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's I've done flow charts like that before when I was coaching, right? Because you have the specific martial arts, the discrete martial arts, which have their own skill set. But when you start putting them together under a different rule set, in a different combat environment as well, depending on whether you have ring, or you have cage, whether you have that kind of stuff, then the skill sets that are on top of that are different also.
Okay.
And the skill sets that you can carry into the mixed martial arts are also different. Okay. To give an example, right? Like if you say you're really great at Taekwondo.
Okay.
Right? You're really great at Taekwondo, and you have this amazing kicks, you have these beautiful movement you can do, you can bounce really well, you can jump really high, all that crazy stuff. But you enter into an MMA context, you're going to have a hard time carrying over all of those skills. You can do something, maybe your ability to move back when somebody moves in is really good. Your control of distance is really good. That one will carry over regardless of the context.
Okay.
But if you can throw this crazy spinning kick, you can jump off of one leg, spin around 100 times and kick your opponent in the Taekwondo context, you're going to have a hard time carrying over all of those skills. You can do something, maybe your ability to move back when somebody moves in is really good. That one will carry over regardless of the context. But if you can throw this crazy spinning kick, you can jump off of one leg, spin around 100 times and kick your opponent in the Taekwondo context, carrying that over to MMA will be hard because you have to worry about takedowns. You have to worry about somebody kicking your legs. You have to worry about somebody like throwing an overhand. Your ability to translate those skills will be reduced because of the nature of the rule set.
Oh, the environment of the
environment, correct?
Of
yes.
where you fight.
Yes.
The environment of competition.
Yes.
Okay, fair.
So like, before we speak about mixed martial arts in detail, the closest to mixed martial arts is
okay. So I would say like the core family of martial arts that make up mixed martial arts as we know now is wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing.
so that mixed martial arts is a combination of that four.
It's mixed martial arts, I consider its own thing.
Okay,
But the core skills that you need
is from
are
that
all
four.
can all be captured in those martial arts.
Oh,
Yeah.
so if you do boxing, what do you say, jiu-jitsu, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give an analogy. Like you want to pursue a master's, but in order to pursue this master's, you have to have like a degree in education. You have to have a degree in engineering.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, they're all the prerequisites.
The prerequisite in order to
So mixed martial arts ni is a higher level? Are you trying to say that?
Yeah, okay. I'll give you an example, right? Like when I was training for my last fight, my last amateur fight, I knew I didn't have a lot of time to train.
Okay.
Right? So if I have like maybe 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, like am I gonna do Muay Thai and wrestling and jiu-jitsu and blah blah? I'd have no time to do all that stuff. So I focused on MMA specific skills. How to wrestle somebody against a cage.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because wrestling somebody in a wrestling context on a mat is different than wrestling somebody in a cage where I can push you against the wall and keep you there.
Okay.
Right? And then you can make somebody tired so you can land strikes. Whereas if I'm wrestling in a wrestling context, I'm focusing on how to control the guy's hands and his head so I can grab an ankle and put him on the floor.
Okay.
Because my objective there is to hold him down for 3 seconds or however many seconds
Okay.
so that I win the match.
That's wrestling, right?
Yeah, that's wrestling. So then your tools change depending on the rules, depending on your objective.
Okay.
So so for me, I was like, I want to wrestle for MMA. I want to do MMA specific wrestling. Striking, I was like, okay, there's certain things I can do in Muay Thai or I can do in other sports. I can't do it in MMA. So I'll focus on those parts. Right?
Okay. So let's ask you give a brief history about how MMA started.
In the world or in Malaysia?
Can be both. Can be both.
Yeah, let's
if you have the answer for like from which country ke apa ke, because like I know like karate is like from the tersalah.
Karate complicated also.
Okay. So I know it's complicated, but if you do, I know like because like contohnya, okay, Muay Thai lah. Senang cerita aku cakap Muay Thai. Muay Thai started from Thailand, is it?
Yeah.
Mana tahu aku tak pergi
Cambodia,
tumbuk
bro.
orang. So
I'm sure there'll be some Cambodian listening be like, bro, we were the ones.
Maybe I don't know. You can blame me because I don't know. So that's why we call all these experts to come. So so how did MMA start? Because it's a global sports. Yeah,
it's watched by
is.
millions.
Yeah, it is. I mean, MMA now is different from when MMA, I think, first kind of began. So there was a couple different like birthplaces.
Oh, okay.
It started, I think, almost around the same time in a couple different places around the world.
Okay.
In its modern formula. Like in Japan, they were doing kind of mixed martial arts competitions, I think back in like the 70s.
Okay.
Already. Like, so they would, back then it was literally like, okay, you're a judoka, you are a karateka, you are a boxer, you all fight each other. So it was like style versus style kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And then over time it began to like evolve into something else. They like mixed in their own forms of grappling, the traditional forms of grappling in Japan, like jiu-jitsu, judo, that kind of stuff.
Grappling is holding the...
Okay, yeah. So grappling is anything that involves controlling somebody's body by holding, right?
Okay.
So I would say under grappling, you have things like wrestling, you have things like jiu-jitsu, right?
Judo.
In judo also,
judo.
because that's grabbing a person
Yeah.
to control them, literally grappling somebody. And then striking is anything that involves causing damage with your hands and feet. Hands, feet, elbows, whatever, hitting something, striking.
Oh, strike. Okay.
Yeah. So there's MMA can be broadly broken down into striking arts and grappling arts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In
So
order for you to win is...
everything.
Oh, and
Yeah. So
What are
you-
the conditions to win?
okay. Conditions to win is you can submit somebody.
Okay.
So that means I put you in a hold or a position where you have to
knockout. I mean, tap out.
You have to tap out, correct. You have to give up. Or you can knock somebody out, with a strike. You can have a technical knockout, which is to say you create the conditions where the person cannot continue. That means you get kicked in the leg. Your leg just falls asleep. You can't move it anymore. That's a TKO. Or the guy gets on top of you and he's like hitting you, and then the ref intervenes.
Okay.
Also TKO. Right?
Oh, okay.
Technical knockout.
Technical
TKO
knockout.
stands for technical knockout.
Technical knockout. Yes, correct.
Oh, I never knew. TKO, I thought it's like a move.
So, because knockout is like hit the guy, he sparks up, bang, asleep, right?
Oh.
And then technical knockout is when you create the conditions where they cannot continue, but you don't technically knock them out.
Okay.
You don't actually knock them out. So it's a technical knockout.
Oh, okay.
I'm going
Yeah.
the one say,
Fun.
oh, TKO. Itu RKO kan. RKO lah ya. Okay. So which country? What you say? Japan.
So Japan's one of them. The other one is Brazil.
Oh, okay.
So Brazil was doing these kind of like mixed martial arts tournaments for, I think since like the late 60s, early 70s.
Okay.
Because Brazil's like a melting pot.
Yeah.
Right? So you have immigrants from all over the world going to Brazil,
Okay.
including Japan. So the Japanese brought judo to Brazil. They brought other grappling arts, and then the Japanese judo evolved into what's now called Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Right? So through the Japanese contingent, like the Japanese, I think it wasn't a Japanese immigrant; it was a Japanese diplomat who brought it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Cristiano would have
Yeah.
given you the story. Yeah.
So nothing from the States.
States, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, States is more like modern mixed
MMA.
martial arts. It's coming out.
Commercialization, I assume.
The UFC all to MMA kan?
Yeah. Is it?
You imagine like each place gives its own flavor to it, right?
Yeah.
So Japan had like judo, then they brought in like a bit of pro wrestling.
Okay.
Into it, like the grappling aspect.
Okay.
Brazil had Brazilian jiu-jitsu. They actually brought in Muay Thai in a big way into MMA from that timeline.
Oh, okay.
And then America brought in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Brought in two things, I would say. Two things. Wrestling and also sports science into MMA. So that's what really kind of rocketed it up.
Sports science.
As in like how to train properly, you bring in like the kind of professional athletics into it, So that one I think was America's other big contribution to mixed martial
Okay,
arts.
would this make sense? The sports science element is to help like referees to determine what's like defining TKOs?
No, I mean
No.
in the sense of like the training itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like American mixed martial arts has they have all of these resources in terms of how to actually get your body into peak condition, how to diet, how to I'd say like the level of professionalism over there is pretty high in terms of how the athletes train.
So the history is really rich lah.
Yeah, it's very rich, very diverse. I mean, that's not even counting the Russian side of it. The Russian side is also they have their own mixed martial arts history as well.
Wow.
With
Okay.
sambo and everything.
So from there,
Wow.
how suddenly Malaysia got MMA?
That one, okay. I'll say Malaysian MMA it also started from a couple different points. But I think part of it is also like the individual martial arts. Jiu-jitsu coming into Malaysia. Muay Thai has always kind of been here because of Tomoy and everything. But I think when Jiu-jitsu came to Malaysia, that's when you really had an interest in MMA developing.
Okay.
You know? I think one of the first organizations was in Johor, if I'm not mistaken. Ultimate
Okay.
Beatdown.
Oh, sorry?
Ultimate Beatdown.
Oh,
UB.
that's the name of the
Yeah, it's
gym
very, very-
or the society?
The name of the organization.
Organization. The school lah, is it?
No. When I say organization, it's the guys that are putting on the fights.
Oh, okay.
They're the ones who are organizing the fights and doing every couple of months they'll have this fighting
okay.
event. Yeah. So they've been around for a long time. I think they're one of the first ones to do like bigger
Okay.
tournaments in Malaysia. And then for jiu-jitsu, you have some like the organization that Cristiano I think was affiliated with or part of. Those guys have been in Malaysia for a long time. Leverage. In Sabah, jiu-jitsu is I think 2000 and I want to say like early 2000s or like 2005, 2006 or something. Jiu-jitsu started there. So Malaysia's had the seeds of MMA for about 20 years.
Oh, so the MMA scene is also almost like capoeira and jiu-jitsu lah. 20 years also in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think MMA and jiu-jitsu have this relationship, right? Like once jiu-jitsu comes in, then it's a matter of time before you have MMA.
Okay.
You know, is because everywhere you go in the world, there's striking arts.
Okay.
Especially in Malaysia, especially here in Southeast Asia, we have striking arts. But it's the grappling part that, you know, once that comes in and that culture spreads, then you have the basis. You can start doing MMA.
Okay. So that's how it started in Malaysia. And how did
The beginning.
How did you start to from California to you came back and then
Yeah. So I was in the States for a while, like up until 2011.
okay.
So 2011, I mean from 2008 starting MMA, I was doing jiu-jitsu, then I was doing Muay Thai pretty seriously, then I moved to Singapore after
Okay.
that. So I was in Singapore training at some gyms there.
Okay.
And then around 2014, there was so back in 2012, 2013, there was this tournament that started in Malaysia called MIMA, Malaysian Invasion MMA. That was a very large-scale tournament.
Okay.
Right, so it was national level. They would do like tryouts all over the place. So around 2014, I decided to join the tournament. I had been competing already in like
In the States
jiu-jitsu.
and all that. Yeah. Okay.
I've been competing in jiu-jitsu for a while already. I think since 2011.
So at that time, you would say you well-trained jiu-jitsu person or well-trained martial arts person?
I kind of I would go back and forth between martial arts. I trained like jiu-jitsu for a couple of years and more Muay Thai for a couple of years. So I was pretty balanced by that point.
You like the one that Carl said just now. In order for you to know MMA, you need to like
Yeah, the
actually
prerequisites
touch
lah.
all this.
Correct.
Boxing also.
Boxing, not so much. I didn't like getting punched in the face.
Okay.
Okay. But
So
then
I was-
strike.
Yeah, I'm pretty tall for my weight, so I like to use like kicks and everything. So you just keep people away and like.
Okay. Kalau dia lawan fight with me memang tendang dia
Okay, grapple lah.
kena muka atau tak sampai pun. Pendek lagi.
grappling, bro. Grappling.
Oh,
Grappling.
okay. So then after when you were in Singapore, then you come to the MIMA. In Malaysia, you came back Malaysia and then join the MIMA.
So I kind of joined MIMA like on accident, I guess. I was looking for a gym for my brother.
Okay.
So my brother's 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
He was like I think 16, 17 at the time.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, like, you know, you want to do martial arts? Like, let me find a gym for you. So we found a gym here in KL called Clinch MMA. And back then, clinch MMA was actually like, it was a hotbed of talent. There was a bunch of like already accomplished fighters, young up and comers, and like talented coach. All happened to be in that one gym.
Okay.
So I put him there, and then he, like through those guys, heard about this tournament, and so I was like, okay, like, we both joined. I've been training MMA, training in martial arts for so long. I wanted to
join the competition.
I wanted to see what I could do.
Okay, okay. See your
Do all the
potential
how
lah.
far, yeah.
Okay. And then it.
Yeah, and then from there it was kind of an addiction lah.
Okay.
Oh wow.
To join competition.
Yeah. Okay, so my first competition ever was in jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And jiu-jitsu was scary already, like, but having tried jiu-jitsu, MMA, and Muay Thai, I think MMA is by far the scariest, but it's also the most intense rush you feel
Okay.
in competition. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, Arief, but how would you describe that? Like intense.
Because everything is tense kan. Kalau
Yeah. Like compared to
kalau
like the
combat
other.
sports kan, you have to like literally stare both your opponent eyes, just gaze in the eyes and just ready to
Very
take you
intimate.
down. You know?
It's how to describe it? Okay, so full disclosure, I never competed in any other kind of sport. Like not swimming, not basketball, not football, nothing. I only competed in combat sports.
Okay.
So I don't know what it feels like for other sports. Only know what it feels like in combat.
Okay.
But you know, there's the fear. There's an intense fear before any competition. Especially for me, I don't know what it is. I get really, really anxious. I've almost been forced to pull out of fights by the doctors, like the pre-fight doctors, because of like heart rate going through the roof.
Oh, wow.
That kind of anxious, right?
Okay.
But as you go into competition, everything changes. There's like a switch that is flipped. The fear and anxiety goes into like extremely heightened senses.
Okay.
You know, like spidey sense.
Yeah.
When everything slows
Extremely
down.
heightened. What is heightened?
Heightened means like, you know, just like,
Oh,
everything's through the roof.
yeah.
lah.
Heighten.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like Spider-Man, right? Like
Okay.
Spider-Man gets anxious, like, he like the hair
The
stand
spider
up.
sense lah, spider sense lah.
Everything slows down a little bit, and he can hear somebody from behind him. That kind of stuff. Like you can your senses are all like
Dial up to like
dialed up
100.
to 100 lah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that is how you feel in the ring or cage actually.
In both.
Okay.
In both. You can really, everything is like just turned on, 100%. So,
Fully focus ah.
yeah, I've spoken to other people who fought, and people have slightly different experiences, I think, but the intensity is everybody feels that. You know, it's like that. Everything is so intense. Your vision is like completely focused on that person.
Okay.
Everything else is like blurry. You know, for me, like I can't hear anybody else. If people are screaming from the outside, I can't hear anything. All I can hear is like the ref and my coach.
Wow.
And that's it.
Okay.
I'm lucky in that way. Like I can.
So
just-
like the one that in the movies too, I mean it's true ah.
Yeah. It's true.
The one
It's
like
true.
the sound blur and then
Yeah.
just hear the coach voice.
The slow-mo stuff that they do in the movies, also true. Everything is like time is
Dilate.
Yeah, it's
Like
time
the
is
scene
dilated,
from
exactly.
the $1 Million Baby yeah.
I've never seen the movie lah, but
Ah,
I assume
that
it's
one
the
boxing
same.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all
Yeah,
the same
so the scene
feeling,
is like
lah.
the feel is like there's a scene where you just sit down and then just listen. You can't hear the voice, just like you hear the camera. Yeah, and then, but that's the movies lah. But memang
Yeah.
you blur everything lah.
blur that, and then you also like there's like a bit of an. For me, it was like a bit of an echo almost.
Okay.
You know, like because everything else is blurred out, so the voices you hear are like, like that kind of like echoey voice. And then the time dilation is a real thing. It's really strange.
Okay.
You know, like little moments in time become stretched out.
Okay.
You know,
That is the feel when you are in the combat fighting place lah, right? And like when you do that, is it like whoever yang buat mixed martial arts will feel that, or it takes skill for you to really focus? okay? Or, yeah.
I mean, I think the fear and anxiety is universal. That one everybody will feel. Everybody will feel fear unless you're like a psychopath. Unless you're a crazy person, you'll feel some kind of fear. And I think that fear is actually what causes that. Because your body is so scared. You're like, I might, it's fight or flight. It's like do or die. All the adrenaline is like switch up, 100%. So that 100% adrenaline, that's what it does.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk us through like your average fight. I don't know how okay, before we ask I asked the question, how many fights have you been in total? If you could recall.
I think like 7 or 8. MMA. Muay Thai, 3. Jiu-Jitsu, I don't remember how many.
A lot.
Yeah, probably more like 20, 30 matches.
Oh wow. Yeah. Before that, the Malaysian Invasion MMA, MIMA, do they do like round robin or is it like a tournament structure?
So I think when they first started, they were doing the kind of basic tournament structure.
Okay.
Right. So there's like a field of I think 30 opponents or 30 combatants in one weight class, and then you'll fight for several rounds over the next couple of months.
Okay.
And then so I did it. I actually did MIMA twice.
Okay.
First time was 2014. Second time was 2017.
Okay.
So the 2014 one was like a conventional tournament, a normal tournament structure.
Okay.
Then 2017 they switched it to they took like the football structure.
Okay.
Which
so
is
like a league.
Yeah, it was like a league structure. So it was like kind of like round robin-ish. They didn't do the usual tournament. That one I felt doesn't work so well for MMA because you don't get knocked out in football. Like football, you don't have brain damage, things like that.
Okay.
MMA is MMA we have like very, very real consequences for things. For poor management of a tournament can have long-lasting effects on the combatant's life.
Okay.
So just now I caught on that you said that matches go in like months.
Yeah.
Because you need time to recover from after a match.
Correct.
All right. On average, how long does one fight last, and also the period for the next match? Or and also going into a tournament, how much preparation do you need to get into?
I see. Okay. So fights usually will be depending on whether it's amateur or professional. So amateur will be 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
In between 3 to 5 rounds. Professional fights will usually be 5 by 5. So 5-minute rounds and then either 3 or 5 rounds.
Okay.
And each round is
3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, 3 to 5 minutes. So it makes a big difference actually, especially in grappling. The 5 minutes gives you a lot more time to work.
okay.
In striking arts, there's a lot of like 3-minute rounds for like boxing, Muay Thai, whatever. So that time limit is not so much of a factor. But for the grapplers, 5 minutes makes a big difference.
Got time out.
Time out. If somebody like spits out a mouth guard, if somebody gets hit in the like below the belt, then you can do time out lah. But I cannot call it myself.
Oh, okay.
The referee has to call it.
Oh, okay.
If I start going like time out, my opponent can just come over and hit me lah. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, you have these kind of like
Because
you have some
boxing got,
controls.
Boxing got time out, right?
They cannot call it themselves.
Oh.
The ref has to call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the referee is there to kind of control the action, to control the flow of the fight, because he's also there so that nobody can kind of game the system. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's the one in control.
All right.
Right. Otherwise, fighters will be calling this and that.
Strategies.
Yeah. The mind games would be next level.
I can see that.
Yeah. So the ref's job is to kind of keep everything under control. He's actually a very important part of the whole environment for mixed martial arts.
All right. So you really explained, okay, the format of the matches.
Yeah.
Okay, so going into like 3 months, 6 months, going into, and also the recovery period between each rounds.
Like minimum would be, I would say 1 month training.
Oh, 1 month training.
You know,
Okay.
and then for recovery, I would also put it, depending on how much damage you take, can be like 2 weeks, can be 1 month or 2 months. Like if you have head trauma, probably 2 months.
Oh,
minimum.
wow.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
because like if you've been knocked out, that is like you're talking about around 6 weeks, no contact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no sparring, no nothing. You want to let your brain settle. It's no
Oh.
joke. Like,
Okay, I will ask that later to you. But now I
Yeah.
got another question to ask.
okay.
Okay, so if the listeners and the ones that is viewing us and watching us, they like me, they want to know like how to start MMA. Do we have to buy gear? Do we have to? Because you just now you said mouth guard. So what do you need to have on you in order to fight MMA? Because like, yeah, that is my question.
Okay. So it depends on where you start.
Oh, okay.
Because most gyms, especially in Malaysia, they won't have like a specific MMA program.
Oh.
They'll have jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and then eventually you can compete in MMA. You have to learn like the basics,
Okay.
the prerequisites.
Okay.
Right? So for those, you can have a mouth guard. Sometimes you need boxing gloves for Muay Thai or boxing. You need a gi, which is a kind of kimono, like a kimono for jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
But if you're talking about like your first time doing, then just go lah. Don't worry so much about the equipment.
Do you
figure out which one you like?
Do you wear
first.
shoes? No, right?
No shoes.
Oh, no shoes,
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Headgear don't have.
headgear don't have. Just is like basically
A pants.
You have comfortable shorts
Comfortable shorts.
and ideally something without pockets.
Okay.
Yeah, and then a shirt that's not too baggy. That
Oh.
is the bare minimum basic you need
For MMA.
for like striking and grappling.
Oh, striking and
Yeah, striking, grappling, MMA. It's just comfortable shorts without pockets and shirt that's not too baggy.
I feel there's a story behind comfortable shorts without pockets.
Okay. Yeah. So to clarify, why no pockets?
Oh, yeah.
When you are grappling with somebody, when you're rolling with somebody on the floor, pockets become this like hazard, right? You're like on top of me. I'm trying to roll under you, and then my fingers
Okay.
get caught in your shorts, and then
Oh, then your finger patah.
yeah,
lah.
your fingers can exactly.
Oh, okay.
So it's it's kind of a silly thing, but it's a real hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Say no to pockets.
Fair.
Save a finger.
Okay, now my question is about the one that I want to ask you just now. I ask you now. You said just now ada brain damage lah, apa ni semua kan. Have you had any injuries like that, like big injuries? And have you given anyone a bad injury before? Oh, because kita tengah sembang dengan champion kan. Dia mesti pernah pumpkan orang punya.
Yeah.
One by one, gentlemen. Memang dia.
Yeah. Okay.
For you first.
For okay. I have suffered an
Yeah.
injury. Yeah. Definitely. For the brain, I don't know. I've had some rough fights. Like my last fight was pretty rough, and it was part of the reason that I decided to stop competing as much. Just a brain fog afterwards. So you just blur for
Vision or
no,
what?
just sometimes just sitting there trying to remember something, can't remember it. Oh shit.
Yeah, you
Oh.
enter a room and you're like, oh, what was the purpose of me in the room?
That kind of stuff. But I wasn't sure. Maybe I'm just getting old, lah. I don't know.
Likewise.
But that is. Do you think that was from a fight?
I think it was initially because it was about a week lah where it's
Okay.
properly blur.
Okay, wow.
And then
If other than the hip,
sorry.
other than head damage,
I mean, I had like black eyes, busted nose, that kind of stuff. But the worst injuries are not actually from fights. I would say
Not
the worst
fracture
one
or
is-
don't have lah.
Don't have. I was lucky. Lucky.
Okay.
But the worst ones actually come from training.
Oh.
So initially in my training, I was a bit more like, a lot less controlled. I was really concerned about winning during
Okay.
training.
Okay.
'Cause I was young, competitive, everything. And when you have that mentality in a training room, you can get hurt or you can hurt your partner. So when you're finding a martial arts gym, like finding a good culture and good training partners is very important because
Yeah,
those guys have your health in their hands.
We will ask
vice
that
versa.
also about the culture MMA.
Yeah. So this is my own like stupid competitive streak where I like now after retiring from competition, like it's like I have shoulder issues, I have knee problems, I have this and that. And I think that's pretty universal as well. A lot of people, especially if you're like serious into the grappling arts, you'll have joint issues. It's safer for the brain doing grappling, but a lot harder on your joints.
Okay. So not that fracture ke apa. So now the
Nothing
question
major.
is from you to have you knocked pieces
I think I can I reframe your question. How many TKO wins? How many KO wins? And how many submission wins have you applied?
Okay.
Because that would answer his question.
Oh really? Okay.
In a
Okay.
way.
In a way, yeah. Okay. KO wins, like clean KOs, I think only like one.
Oh.
I have a lot of TKOs.
KO is knockout, right? The
Yeah,
person
KO
is
is like knockout clean.
like faint,
eyes closed.
eyes
fall
closed,
down.
and then cannot function anymore. Okay.
I've won by TKO a lot. Like kneeing somebody in the body, then the referee comes and stops it, or like get on top of somebody, ground and pound, the referee stops it. But KO, there was one time, and that kind of scarred me for life. Like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for asking the question.
yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, do tell.
Because I always wanted to KO somebody. Because highlights, right? You get the highlight reel. It looks really good. And I was doing like Muay Thai for so long. I was like, I've never knocked anybody out by head kick before. Like I really wanted like at least get one, right? And then there was one fight coming up where I was like training a lot of like kicks, a lot of high kicks. He's a slightly shorter opponent. And this is the one I asked my cousin, our mutual friend, can you do like some research on this guy? Find out a little bit about him. What are his tendencies? Like, you have any videos of him fighting? Send him over, right? So like a week before the fight or a couple days before the fight, she's like, I got some intel on him. And I was like, cool, send it over. He's like, okay. He's got 2 kids.
Wait, what?
He's got 2 kids. He likes to play online games. I was like, dude, this is not what I wanted. Don't send me photos of his little girls like before I'm fighting this guy. Like, I feel terrible.
Okay.
And of course, that's the fight that I managed to score a head kick knockout.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like kicking him in the stomach. He started to like kind of fold over, and I was like talking to the ref the whole fight. I was like, ref, hey, he's done. He's done. Like, get him out of here. Like, I knew it. I basically had won it at that point now.
Okay.
But so I went low, kick to the body, and the next one, high kick.
Okay.
I thought he would maybe have a hand up or
Block,
something,
yeah.
but no, went straight, boom, and then complete knockout. Like KO, fall back, just fell asleep. And the first thing that I thought of was like, damn, those 2 little kids, like they just knocked out their dad, and they're like, oh. I felt terrible. It was
If he's listening,
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But obviously, it was like it was a cool shot. Like it looked cool. But then afterwards, I was like, okay, I cannot.
Okay.
Like-
So like basically Alah, faham juga lah. Sebab you do the sports, you already know all the risks that you need
Yeah,
to ini.
yeah,
So bukanlah dia didn't volunteer to like go and then you have to be there. It's like you already both want.
That's consent.
Yeah,
That's the
it
whole
is,
part
it
of
is.
sparring. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you do. You sign your name. You know, you say, okay, I consent to all of this, and it's part of the sport. Like he could have done the same thing to me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The back of my mind is always like, okay, self-preservation. I'm also doing. When I'm there, I have to defend myself.
Okay, let's go. Come out from retirement. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll be the announcer. Alright, continue.
No, so it's when you're in there, you cannot have these kind of thoughts. Right?
Yeah.
You just have to win by any means necessary. The reason there was a lot of TKOs early on was because it was the safest way to win.
Yeah.
You know, for me to take somebody down to get on top and then to ground and pound is safest path to victory. You know. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all competitors. We all know the risks involved. But it's this funny thing where you know that your opponent is a human being, but to humanize them too much during the fight, it just completely throws your head out. You know?
Okay, so that's why you really
Competition.
need to focus.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the scene. Because you say you need to choose a perfect, not perfect, but a really good environment of gym because they are taking care of you. And yeah, how's the scene of like the gyms, the competition in the country? And I'm sure you started 2014 and then you stopped 2018, you were champion. I'm sure it's growing until today. Yeah, so do mind sharing with the listeners and the people that's watching to us?
I think the scene is growing. It's been growing for a while. I would say that I feel very like hopeful about the development of MMA in Malaysia. But I think what is lacking now, okay, you have a lot of gyms.
Okay.
Right? We have a lot of gyms, we have a lot of like guys who are eager to compete. You know, I think we need platforms for competition.
Okay.
You know, large scale platforms. That's what my generation of competitors, we were lucky because we had that at like a national level. You know, bring everybody together, all eyes on one competition. Right now you have a couple of these platforms for competition that are like 2 or 3 in KL, 1 in JB, and they're, you know, I think 1 in Kuching as well. And they're growing the sport, but it's not, I think, growing as fast as it could.
Okay.
You know, 2014, 2017, we had guys who came from amateur and went into the pros. You know, they're fighting in like one championship right now.
Oh. Malaysian.
Yeah. We have a handful of them. There's still, some of them are still competing.
In one championship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In 2014, we had somebody who went, not 2014, 2012 or 2013, the very first MIMA. One of the finalists also went to like fight in the Ultimate Fighter, which is like the
UFC.
Yeah, so it's like the precursor program to the UFC. You know,
Okay.
like, you know, you go through the Ultimate Fighter, and then from there they'll select you to be part of the UFC.
Oh.
Yeah, so
UFC first or one championship? Which one is higher actually?
okay, I say in terms of like level of competitors, UFC is higher.
Okay.
You know, one championship now they have like the Muay Thai, they have MMA, they have grappling. So their Muay Thai is great, like international level,
Okay.
global level. I say the MMA in one championship is, they have like some international level fighters and some more regional level fighters. You know,
Okay.
but I think that's the niche that that's the market that they're trying to capture. They're trying to bridge between regional and international. But MMA is already, UFC is already like global level.
So now you said that is pre-pandemic. So post-pandemic, post-COVID, it went downhill a bit.
A bit. I think a lot of gyms closed. There was also like it was really hard for martial arts during COVID, you know, because
No contact.
no contact, you can't open your gym, you know, you shut down for a couple of months. And MMA is a business that's like, as a business, it's very difficult to run. You have high costs, paying coaches, paying rent, everything, and then retention problems, trying to get students, trying to keep students, all of that. So it's like 2 months of no funds can have a big impact on a business.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the scene suffered a lot during that period.
And is it picking up now?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say like because of these new platforms for people to compete, the scene is growing. I think what the scene needs is one, like larger scale platforms, and also like united training. Right now, everything is spread out, right? You have different gyms, and each of them has their own training. Each of them have their own fighters and everything. That's good for the
own
scene.
syllabus, actually?
Yeah, I mean, that's good for the scene to grow, like
Okay.
locally. But for us to get to like an international level,
Okay.
because now Malaysia is, for the last couple of years, especially pre-pandemic, we were trying to get into the international amateur competitions for MMA. They have the IMMAF, International MMA Federation.
Okay.
That's an amateur league, so global amateur league. So they were trying to push for Malaysians to get into this league. Right, there's actually an organization that came together that put together like competitors and was going to fund their trip to, I think, like Abu Dhabi or wherever they were going to fight. You know, but to continue to do that, we need like a platform for fighters from across Malaysia to come and train.
Okay.
You know, there needs to be like cohesion in the culture, right? So I think
Don't have that now.
not yet.
Okay.
I think jiu-jitsu has it.
Okay.
Jiu-jitsu already has it. MMA not quite yet. You know,
Okay.
so I think we have to learn from jiu-jitsu and learn from what they're doing.
What is it? Are they lacking, or what is it? Are they not doing, or what is it they can do to make that happen?
I think you kind of answered it, like the cohesion aspect. Like even as a sports organizer, it's like trying to get everyone on the same page.
Yeah, everybody wants a piece of the pie. Also, you know, I want my gym to be the front and center, or I want this coach to be the one to coach. No, I want this guy. Like in jiu-jitsu, because there's always competitions,
Okay.
and they'll compete. Like the coaches will compete against each other and everything, and they'll even train together sometimes. They'll have like, there's a culture in jiu-jitsu called, I guess, open mat culture.
Okay.
Which is say my school is just gonna open our doors and anybody from any other school can come and train, right? Easier in jiu-jitsu because you're not punching each other in the face.
Okay.
You're grappling, you're flowing, all that stuff. So there's already an understanding of like, you know, the strengths and weaknesses of the different like instructors and different camps. And so if you're structuring a team at a national level, it's a lot easier because you kind of know where everybody stands.
Fair.
I think MMA is a little different now. It's a bit more of a competitive, like it's a less friendly competition, more like antagonistic competition kind of culture.
Fair. All right. So, you want to add anything more on that?
Yeah, I just want to add this one. You said need to be together, the coaches ke all semua. But contohnya lah, like for example, we spoke to apa nama ni, 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙇𝙎 kan. We spoke to 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝑇 about pro wrestling. Pro wrestling has fans, has people to come. Yeah, that's how they get more people to watch to make the sport grow.
Right.
This is just you, fighter, coach. Is there how the fans
The ecosystem.
How to grow the fan base lah.
firstly got or not, and then do you think so?
Or they're like Ahmed fan clubs.
because
Maybe
like
there were a while ago lah, I don't know
Mima
about now.
tu they organize kan, when you did people come and watch, right?
Yeah. I feel like they, you know, the Malaysians come out for combat events. Like I've been to like the One Championships in Singapore, and I've been to the ones here. Like as fans, we're so much better than the Singaporean fans. Like you go to like the stadiums here, people are like screaming, everything. They're excited, but it hasn't, I think, built the momentum that it needs to really like maintain the scene. And I've been thinking about it for years. I'm trying to figure out what's the magic solution, but I think part of it is coming up like these organizations that are holding the fights, that are doing the tournaments, maybe having a smarter media strategy.
Okay.
PR.
Yeah, the PR, what you do with your footage after you have all these fights. What do you do with all the footage that you have is the only real asset that you carry afterwards. What do you do with it?
Okay.
And it helps with commercialization.
Correct.
Fair.
So basically, it goes back to this one lah. Do you need to be cohesive first in order for people
Synchronicity,
to grow?
Yeah.
Okay. One more question before I pass to Carl. Like contohnya, like I don't know if Olympic or the SEA Games is it certified as mixed martial arts? Because like karate, judo, they have all that kan. Boxing. How about MMA?
No, MMA doesn't have that.
Why is that? And do you think that it will be?
Okay, so from my understanding is that, say at the level of the Olympics, right, they are very hesitant to bring on other sports if there's already a sport similar to it, right? So
okay.
you already have judo. Okay, then I'm not going to bring jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Right. I already have like boxing. I have
Wrestling.
I have taekwondo. Like why do MMA? I already have these other sports.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
But
so
I'm
they
sure
don't want to have like.
Doesn't people like fight for it? Oh, we want it then.
It also like for the average person looks brutal. So there's an optics problem.
Okay.
Boxing people can accept. It's been there for thousands of years. It's okay lah. But once somebody is on the ground, the guy's like,
KO,
bam! Then changes the game.
Okay.
So there's a bit of an optics problem lah with MMA.
Black eye, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just once people go on the ground, punching each other on the ground, it's harder for people to accept. That this is a sport.
So basically, I think the analogy is like Olympics wants it to be a U rating.
Yeah.
Sporting event.
MMA we're PG-13 already.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So my question, this is a bit of a flow. What were the challenges during your fighting career? And also the highlights, and also how did you felt? Obviously, it's a highlight. How did you felt when you won it? And also the class of your weight class as well. How many different weight classes were there?
Oh, okay. How many different weight classes are there in MMA? There are fewer weight classes in MMA than in boxing.
Oh.
So boxing has a lot of weight classes. I can't even remember all of them. But MMA, I think you have atom weight, flyweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight.
Wish banyak.
Yeah.
So
but boxing has all these little ones in between.
Oh,
in between
okay.
each one, they have
few.
You're bridging like these weight classes that bridge between.
And then this one only 1-on-1 or got doubles like pro wrestling got two people fight.
They cannot lah.
Tak boleh lah.
I think you go to one of these like dodgy promotions in Russia, you can find like the 6 versus 6, like 5 versus 5, but in real mixed martial arts,
It's just 1-on-1.
1 versus 1.
1 by 1. Okay, 1
1 by 1.
Because I never seen
Gentleman
Gentleman
style.
1 by 1 gentleman style lah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because it's gentleman style, ada ke what? Is it ada like ladies yang join?
Yeah.
You got also lah
Yeah,
category ladies.
So what category were you in?
I was welterweight.
Welterweight. That's how many stones?
That's 77 kilos.
Oh, only that range.
Yeah.
And above or below?
No. So it's between 77 and 84, I think.
Okay.
84 kilos. Yeah.
So there's a way in before.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, hang on. No, you have to hit 70. 77 is a cap. I misspoke. 77 is the cap for that weight class. So for each weight class, the number is the cap. So for middleweight, the cap is 84 kilos. You can be under 84 if you want.
Okay.
But you have to hit that 84. You cannot go past it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So not more than 77.
Not more than 77.
Okay.
So actually at the time, I was 73, 74. I just
And you're
didn't-
tall enough.
Yeah, I just didn't want to cut weight. I was
Okay.
like, okay, I don't want to have to like lose weight every month. I was working as well, and I was like, to do this on a monthly cycle, I'd go crazy. You'd be like depressed for months, you know.
Yeah.
So I just decided to like have a disadvantage, fight lighter.
Oh.
You know?
Okay. So on that, okay. Thank you for sharing the categories and all.
Yep.
What were the challenges throughout this whole journey? So the highlights of this whole journey.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest challenge as an amateur fighter is balancing. Balancing your training schedule with your working life.
Okay.
So, I like my whole way through fighting and everything. I never stopped working. I was still doing like, you know, still had a day job, still had to like pay the bills, still had to do all that stuff. So, you know, especially when you have a fight booked and you're working, you're trying to sit there, you know, clicking away, doing whatever it is at your desk job, and at the back of your head, you're like, this guy's gonna kill you. Like, what are you doing? You need to be training, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always like you know, echoing in the back of your head. So I think that was the big challenge was just finding ways to balance your time.
Okay.
Right. You know.
Because you cannot just like focus 100% and like you got stuff to do, and then if you do all the other things, then later you'll lose momentum.
Exactly.
But in the end, you find the balance as well, because in order to be a champion,
Yeah.
you did.
I think I found a groove that worked for me. I also saw what the other side could have been like if I had committed like 200%. Right. The one fight that I lost, I think I saw what 1,000% dedication looks like
From the opponent.
from my opponent. Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
1,000%, eh?
I mean, so my opponent is now fighting. I think he was fighting in one championship for a while. Not sure if he's still there, but we were in the same tournament together when we were both amateurs.
Okay.
I actually trained with him for a little bit as well. So his name is 𝙁𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙇𝙎. At the time, he was like 19 years old or something.
Okay.
And he just decided this is what I want to do. He didn't have, like, he just quit whatever. He was like, you know, working at the gym, helping out there to like, you know, to cover training costs. And he had fully dedicated himself to that. And so like that fight like pushed me really hard. I was, in the lead up to it, I had changed gyms and like actually opened up a gym with a friend.
Okay.
And so like my training was like not the greatest. I was spread all over the place, and I was like just, you know, in my head about lots of all the other stuff I had to do. But then in the fight, there was a period, right, like where after we were exchanging blows, and he took me down, I took him down.
Okay.
And then there was a moment he catches my neck and like was like applying the choke. And as he's applying the choke, I'm already thinking about like, man, I got like, this that deadline. Like, you know, like, cause my head's like all over the place, but his is like, he's got this one goal,
It's
right?
to win.
Submit you out.
To not even that. It's like, it's the dream, his dream.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
fair.
So you could there's a funny thing, like when you're like with somebody in that intimate space, you can kind of feel their level of like
Energy.
dedication, their energy. Right? So I felt that, and I was like, all right, like this kid's I knew he was gonna go somewhere now. But yeah, that also changed my approach to training. That changed my approach to fighting, and like my overall like kind of career path. Like that moment where I'm like, okay, I can see what it is to do this like forever. Like, to have this be your dream and your profession.
If you don't mind me asking, TKO, you lost by TKO or...
I lost by submission.
Oh, you tapped out.
Yeah.
When you were thinking about the deadlines, you just...
Yeah. I mean, he got me. Like,
Okay.
I think there was probably like, it was like maybe a 15% chance I could have escaped, but
The man, he's young, right? He was young at that time.
he was younger. I think
Vigorous,
I was
yeah.
Just a question.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the audience, listeners, and the viewers. were you a full-time MMA
I was
mixed martial arts fighter, or you did, because you said you did your studies and all. What were you studying actually?
I was studying architecture.
So
Okay, no wonder the deadline thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
so you're practice mixed martial art practitioner and also architect as your day job.
Yeah. So I'm a profession-wise, I'm a like designer architect. And amateur, like competitive amateur competition, I'm a MMA fighter.
Okay.
It's like seeing Bruce Wayne.
Which one is the real identity?
Yeah.
Right? Bruce Wayne is the mask.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been doing it ever since lah. So since the States, and when you went to Singapore yang tadi cerita semua, you were literally doing architecture.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, in the States, I was studying lah.
Yeah.
Once I came to Singapore, I was
And
working.
come back to KL.
Working lah, all the way.
And at the same time, all this is just part time or like just like
Yeah.
passion.
I think I probably would have been a much better architect if I hadn't picked up MMA.
Okay. Yeah, so because like people don't know, kan? Even I myself pun don't know like prior to this recording. But like you, that's where you said you need to find the balance and the deadline and everything.
Alright, that was like the challenges. The highlights?
I mean, the highlights were, each victory is a highlight.
Nice.
I think winning the tournament was a highlight. It's like each win is this insane rush of emotion, right? So, I loved every single competition, even the ones I lost. Like the lead up to it, the intensity before, all of that was incredible.
Do you do MMA now still? I know you're a retired competitor, but do you still go to gym and do it? Or do you coach? You stopped coaching also?
I was coaching for a while, then I stopped coaching. I really love coaching because I think that's where like the kind of intellectual side of it comes in. But now I'm still mostly training like Muay Thai or training Jiu-Jitsu, because I find that for my aging body, MMA is a bit harsher on the joints. And I have to like
Be responsible.
Yeah, be responsible. The physio is like, you should really consider like yoga, Pilates.
Pilates.
Pilates susah juga.
Pilates susah juga. Yeah.
Pilates hard also.
That's what I hear lah. That's what I hear. Maybe
People say Pilates hard. We need to find a Pilates person to come also.
Boleh.
I feel like with my kind of competitive thing, I'll probably find some way to hurt myself in Pilates too lah.
Okay.
They'll be like,
Likewise.
hold yourself like this, but like, no, I want to hold myself like that.
So you still go gym personally, combat gyms lah? Okay.
Yeah. Still to train, still to keep myself like, my body, my brain, everything active.
But that one kick punching back lah.
Yeah. I have a ongoing war with my physiotherapist because she's like, you really have to stop sparring. And every time I see the young kids like sparring, I'm like, man, I could do that. I could take that guy, show him what's up.
Oh my God.
And then I have to go back to the physio, and she'll be like, what happened this week? I'm like, well, I fell down some stairs.
Stairs.
Yeah, the stairs kicked me in the knee.
Understood. Okay, last question from me. Overall.
Yeah.
Just from me.
I don't have any more. Yeah.
All right. I think we had 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙇𝙎 in the previous episode, and we had Cristiano in another episode. I've been getting questions about those episodes, and also recently as well. So if you were to advise, not advise lah, but like people be asking me about self-defense. Self-defense classes. So what would you, how would you, because like you're an MMA fighter, obviously like who wants to like take you out? Like realistically, like you're like 6'2", 6'2", you're a champion, TKO or whatever. But on a serious note, how will you encourage people to start self-defense classes, and also what is the best is it karate, taekwondo?
I see.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
because like it's a question like quite a few people have been asking me for a while since Ibrahim Cristiano's episode. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think, like, in terms of self-defense, like, the number one skill is actually awareness.
Okay.
You know, just being aware of the situation, being able to read people, being able to read posture, right? Because how somebody carries themselves will tell you a lot about intent, right? And in that sense, I think any of those, like, those four martial arts that I mentioned, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, those ones will help you with, like, getting your eyes, getting your ability to sense somebody else's intention, and even, like, being able to either grab somebody and take control or control the space and keep yourself safe,
Okay.
right? Jiu-jitsu is great because for somebody who is smaller or maybe not as strong, it gives you the tools to control another person.
Okay.
You know, especially a lot of, I think it was like 70% of altercations end up on the ground. Even that one by one, he also end up on the ground at some point. You know,
Yeah.
these things will always kind of, people will take a swing, they'll stumble, and they'll end up there, right? There's always that. So jiu-jitsu gives you the ability to control people and end a fight in a way that doesn't cause lasting damage to somebody.
Okay.
You know? But by the same token, like, boxing is also good because it keeps you on your feet, your hands are up, you're aware of how punches look, you know how to avoid punches, that kind of thing. So those two sports, even wrestling, it's also good. Wrestling and judo.
Nice.
So yeah, those 4 or 5 sports I think will prepare you. You can start with any one of those and you'll be fine.
So just start lah. Any.
Yeah.
And as long as it's mixed, as long as martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will put you above like 80% of the population already. Because you think the average person doesn't train. The
Yeah.
average person doesn't train to see strikes or to see an opponent coming at you aggressively. So starting at any of those martial arts already gives you an advantage over the normal person. You know?
All right, cool. I think the audience listening will definitely give you a lot of thanks for giving those wisdom.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. We go to quick fire.
Before the quick fire, is there?
Yeah. Is there anything that if people want to know more? If imagine they're not like satisfied enough with all the questions and they want to know more. if they wanna ask you, you can let them know through this camera.
Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Also, yeah.
You want to promote and like whatever.
Yeah. First, if you got something to promote or you want to shout out to anyone that who made you are who you are today, and also like how to find you.
Yeah.
This camera.
Okay. So I'm just gonna tell you guys disclaimer, I'm no longer involved in any like the running or of any other gyms right now.
Okay.
So I would say if anybody out there wants to know more about MMA as not just as like a spectacle, not like as entertainment, but as a science,
Whoa. Okay.
then there's a podcast out there for that actually.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a podcast that I listen to. It's like for MMA nerds,
Okay.
right? It's called the Jack Slack podcast.
Jack Slack podcast.
So he's a writer. He used to be a writer for I think Fightland, which was like a combat sports under Vice.
Okay.
And then he started his own podcast, and that guy gets into like the nitty gritty of things, how people like the history of some of the martial arts, like the tactics that people use, and so you can see it as really like as a science and an art as opposed to as a brutal entertainment.
Oh.
You know, so
Nice. Yeah.
Jack
Yeah.
Slack podcast.
Jack Slack podcast. So yeah, rather than give a shout out to any specific gym because I don't want to offend anybody, like I would say, yeah, go look for those kind of resources out there to actually introduce you to like the complexity of the art.
Okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anyone that you want to shout out to, other than giving yourself a big shout out?
No, I mean, I think I want to give a shout out to like all the competitors and coaches from, I would call them like my generation, right? In the scene, So like my opponents, Aguilan, Tiban, they're out there. They're doing good things for the sport. The guys who are I think running MASMA, it's like the organizing body in Malaysia for MMA. They're also still out there trying to push things for the sport.
Okay.
All the different organizers, the MFC, the Rage MMA, Ultimate Beatdown, all those guys who are still kind of like providing a platform for people. They're all doing good things. And all the gym owners who are still kind of like grinding away at this sport. Each gym is not just a gym per se. It's not just a place to learn, but it's also a community.
Yes.
Right? They're also like places to meet people, to feel safe, to have a safe space. So they're really critical parts of of the culture that's formed as a whole, right? So shout out to my old gym. It's no longer here. It's been closed down. But Clinch MMA never die.
Okay.
Yeah, still out there. So as a community, we're all still we're all still in touch, and all still part of the art. So yeah, big up, guys. Whoever's out there,
Solid.
whoever's running a gym, do your thing.
Yeah, solid. All right, thank you, Ahmed.
Yeah. Let's go to quick fire questions. So every episode of ours, we just ask our guests quick fire questions, so you can just quickly answer.
Okay.
Well, maybe if you dia dah tengok dia tahulah.
Yeah, he printed.
Soalan bocor.
Yeah,
He knows the
correct,
question. Okay.
Double check my questions here.
Yeah, your answers.
Okay, let's ask first.
Do it.
Okay, who is your all-time favorite athlete and coach?
Okay, favorite athlete. Favorite athlete is actually from Muay Thai.
Okay.
I would say. There's this guy who used to fight in the 80s, I think, called Somrak Kamsing.
Okay.
Is the name of the guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
Somrak Kamsing. He was like an old school Muay Thai fighter who would like do Western boxing and Muay Thai.
Okay.
He had a really funky style. So I love fighters like that who like are if they're in one sport, they'll mix things up.
Okay.
In MMA, I like to watch Israel Adesanya because he's also tall and skinny.
Okay.
And so in a sport of like buff, short dudes, I look for those like tall, skinny freaks.
Nice.
For coaches,
It can be. It doesn't have to be like MMA, but it can be anyone if you want to. But MMA also can.
okay. Jiu-jitsu, I like John Danaher. He's like I'm sure if you've interviewed any other jiu-jitsu guys, you may have heard his name.
Yeah.
He is a freak, like a genius kind of freak level of intellect, right? But it was also his ability to break down multiple arts I find really interesting. From Muay Thai, I like a lot of the Western coaches because this is a sport that's basically dominated by people from Thailand.
Okay.
And their culture is so deep there, and they have systems there that have been like generations. But the Western coaches are beginning to catch up. So I actually like following those guys because it's like, how do you create a system to beat something that has been established for so long? Like as in the Malaysian context, we also are like new to the game, so we have to look for people who can like develop systems to beat established players. So guys like Brian Pope-Joy, who's based in LA, Jean-Charles Skarbowski, who's based in France. These are guys who are like training people to beat Thais at a international level.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so my question is also a two-pronged question. Here at Better Call Sukan, we want to give all sports a chance. So the first question is, who you would like us to invite for like a future guest? You could be anyone around the world. That's one.
Around the world, pisang producer kita.
Two. The second one is, what sport do you want us to call that you really want to learn about?
Oh, okay. Hey, this is tricky. I didn't get this far in the question sheet. I mean, any one of those three coaches would be amazing. Obviously, that's like bucket list kind of stuff. In the Malaysian context, I would say like interviewing somebody like Bruninho. So Bruninho is, I think he was the last coach of like the national Malaysian Jiu-Jitsu team.
Okay.
You know, so that would be a good one.
Okay.
He's a Brazilian based here. Also, guys like Fang or Abang Saif in the jiu-jitsu scene here.
Okay.
Because those are guys who like I said, you know, like those early gyms. Those are guys that have been around for a long time.
Okay.
Alan Chong, who is he was the guy who went to Tough from the MMA tournament here in Malaysia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is tough?
The Ultimate Fighter. Sorry, the Ultimate Fighter. So my bad.
Ultimate Fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because he brought jiu-jitsu to Sabah, and then he like grew the scene there, and then started doing MMA. Like also brought MMA to Sabah, and then you know had this crazy journey where he went from amateur MMA in Malaysia to doing like professional MMA training with professionals in the States.
Okay.
You know, so he has quite an interesting journey.
Nice.
So those guys I think would be good people to interview.
Okay. Producer Naf Boy.
Got a lot of work.
Yeah.
Dia banyak. There's a lot of names
There's a lot of names.
mentioned just now.
Okay. This one, this one is good for TV. Matt Polino. He was the coach. Remember when I said like 2014? I started training at this gym that had a lot of like rising stars in it. He was the coach of that gym. As far as coaches go, this guy is like he's got coaching talent. You know, some people have like can play really well.
Yeah,
they have that kind of, they have that kind of talent. But coaching talent is different. Being able to read people, whatever, understand the techniques, and develop systems. He's a really interesting guy to talk to.
All right.
For sport?
Yeah. What any sport?
Like for me, last season, the running gag was like, I don't know cricket, but after we got a cricket coach came over, and I know how to play cricket.
So what for you? What's your
For me, this year tak ada lagi.
Tak ada lagi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw something about hobby horsing.
Huh?
Have you guys heard that?
Hobby?
So it's like people will have like a horse. It's like they're pretending to ride a horse.
Oh yeah.
You see that?
Oh,
They
like-
like the equestrian, right?
It's like equestrian, but there's no horse. You're like
Yeah,
you're like
you were
riding
holding
a
a
broomstick.
stick.
Yeah. So
Oh.
I was like looking at that. It's like this is like kuda kebang for like for
Yeah.
white people.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, yeah.
Hobby horsing, kan?
Yeah,
I've
this
heard
is like
that.
literally right before I came here. I think I saw it on Instagram. I was like, what is this?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Strange
don't know
algorithm
kalau ada
have.
dekat Malaysia ke tak. But yeah, if kalau ada, let's try to
Hey,
find
we
out.
did curling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give them all a
curling
chance,
pun
bro.
someone
Give
cakap
them all
tak
a
dekat
chance.
Malaysia. Cricket pun ada orang cakap dulu tak dekat Malaysia. So our producer is like legend. So he Nut Boy will find hobby horsing. Okay, I think that will be very interesting. Then he come to the studio and bawa the horse. Actually can bring the horse, you know. Not
Yeah, exactly. Bring them into the studio. Have to sit
bring the
them.
broomstick there.
Yeah, make sure you have something to feed it. You know.
All right. Do you have any favorite fictional character or sports movie or any favorite fictional character of all time?
Fictional character
From a sporting movie.
Yes.
from a sporting movie. Hajime no Ippo is an anime and manga about a boxer.
Okay.
What's the name of the show?
That's the name of the show. Actually.
Oh,
Yeah, I
The
think
name of the character?
name of the character.
not
I
sure.
forget, actually.
What's the name of the show?
Hajime no Ippo.
Hajime
What does
no
it mean?
Ippo.
Don't translate.
Susah.
Not sure. Okay.
That
No,
was
just
not.
curious.
That was not in the
Okay.
question.
Yeah, just curious. Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it.
You
as a
saw
kid.
about boxing lah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
about
okay.
boxing.
Okay. Do you have any quotes or saying that you keep? You know, you basically it's all you. You know, you and your opponent, but it's always you against yourself. So, do you have anything that you keep saying that keeps you going?
Kata-kata.
Yeah.
Kata-kata dari Ahmad.
It's not a saying per se, but it's a philosophy lot.
Okay. Yeah.
That the only things we can control are ourselves.
Okay.
Right? So it's kind of like a stoic philosophy that like everything else outside there'll be challenges, there'll be difficulties, but it's your own internal world that you can control. How you see things, how you perceive things. You know?
Okay.
So we can only control ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
And let go.
And let go of everything else.
Okay.
Fair.
Be formless.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything more you want to add before we wrap the show?
No, that's it.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for inviting me to do this.
Thank you for coming, for your time and your effort to come and share to not just me and Carl,
Yeah.
is to everyone out there who next time will just type MMA on Better Call Sukan. It is you. You're the first.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
the first. Yeah, thank you for sharing all your experience or anything about MMA from the history tadi, like how it started, and then how you feel it's growing. And we from Better Call Sukan, I'm sure for you also hope that the MMA scenes is gonna be growing bigger, better, and peaceful outside of the ring. Right. Betul kan? That's what you want, right?
Yeah. No politics. No politics.
Yeah. Outside of the ring is peaceful. Inside, let's go.
Let's go.
One by one.
Exactly.
If you are alamak, Arief is my co-host.
It's okay lah.
Alamak, Kal pernah pergi New York. Alright. Thank you so much to the listeners that listen us from the start until the end. Thank you so much to yang watch us on YouTube as well. Also, do follow Better Call Sukan on all social media platforms. If you guys got any other spots that you guys not for us to call, we will definitely call them and bring them here. Alright, thank you so much also to the guest, Mr. Ahmed, champion. Yeah, former champion lah.
Former champion.
Yeah, former champion. Sorry.
Yeah.
Former champion. Okay. For your sharing today, and we hope all the best for you in all your architecture or your any other future endeavors that you do. We all
Thank
from
you
Better
guys
Call
so
Sukan. We hope all the best for you.
Thank you.
All right. That is about it. Let's just wrap it up. Thank you so much, everybody. My name is Arief Daniel,
My name is Carl.
My name is Ahmed.
and we will see you soon. Bye bye.
Audio Plus.